We welcome now the Assistant General Manager of the Cleveland Indians, soon to be General Manager of the Cleveland Indians, Chris Antonetti. Chris, good to have you here.
My pleasure, Bruce. Always good to be here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You know, this was a most sought-after guy. He could have had that Cardinals job. That's a pretty strong temptation, but you decided to stay in Cleveland, and at the completion of this year, you will take over for Mark, who's moving up to president.
I'm really excited about the opportunity to continue to work with what's an exceptional group of people with the Indians. I think we have a special culture that's established and started with the Dolan family and is really pervasive throughout our organization. And I feel like it's a privilege to work here, and I'm excited I'll have the opportunity to continue to do that, and hopefully we'll be very successful in the years to come.
And hopefully we'll be successful this year. Nobody's giving us a shot, but, you know, baseball's a funny game. In 2007, nobody gave us a shot. Last year, myself and many others thought we'd win the division. Baseball's a funny game, but certain things have really got to go right. I think Westbrook and Carmona right the front end of the rotation.
Yeah, there are a couple things that we need to have happen. We need to have some of the veteran guys that have had either injuries or maybe a down year. We need those guys to come back and perform, guys like Jake Westbrook, Grady Sizemore, Travis Hafner. And then we need some of our younger players, and we've got one of the younger teams in the American League. But with that youth comes a lot of upside. And I think to the extent those guys are able to develop and establish themselves at the major league level this year and continue to progress, we feel like we have an opportunity. We feel like our roster has a lot of talent. Now the timetable and how quickly they develop, that's a challenging part of baseball, figuring out how quickly that happens. But we believe they have the ability to do it.
We had Michael Brantley on the show yesterday, Chris, and did a long, in-depth interview with him, got to know him. What a great kid. I just fell in love with him, and he seems like, you know, when he gets older, I think he's going to have managerial potential because he seems like he's a student of the game.
He really is impressive. It's a guy that his father was a former major league player, Mickey Brantley. He grew up around the game, and in addition to what are tremendous baseball skills, his ability to command the strike zone, put the ball in play, get on base, run, steal bases, play a good outfield. In addition to all of those skills, he's really a mature player that understands the game. And I think it's hard when you talk to Michael. Sometimes it's hard to realize. You don't realize that he's still only 22 because he carries himself so much older. So we're excited about his potential and are excited to see him play here this spring and watch him contribute at some point this year.
That was exactly my observation. I couldn't believe he was 22 for his maturity. Unbelievable. He may not even make our team with the acquisition of Branyan. If Laporta is healthy to start the season, you figure Matt's going to be at first base. That puts Branyan in left field because Peralta's at third. So there's a logjam out there. But Brantley's cool about it. He wants to make the team. He's going to strive to make the team. But, again, he's so mature, he realizes his future.
Right. I think we look at it as there's no doubt that we're going to need Michael Brantley to contribute at the major league level for us this year. Whether that happens out of the gate in spring training or whether that happens April 15th or April 30th or May 15th, that's a difficult part. But our job is also plan not only for the guys at break camp, but to have a little bit of depth to make sure if things don't go the way we expected or we get some unanticipated injuries, we have some guys that are ready to step up and contribute. And we feel that whether or not Michael makes the team right out of camp, we feel strongly that he'll contribute at some point this year and make us better when he gets here.
I know Baseball America has listed Santana as the 10th top prospect in all of the major leagues, and it's asking him a lot to have him make the jump from AA to the majors. I know he shouldn't be rushed. I'm glad you guys aren't rushing him, but that's part of the reason of bringing in a veteran like Redmond so Torregas and Marson can fight out for that other spot.
That's exactly it, Bruce. I think when we looked at our catchers, we feel we have a very talented group of young catchers with, you know, Lou and Wyatt and certainly Carlos, but we felt bringing in Mike Redmond would do two things. One, it's a guy that knows the division. He's been around the big leagues a long time. He's an exceptional teammate. He's got a great way about him. He understands how to handle a pitching staff. So we feel he'll contribute on the days he plays, but also that he'll be able to impact the development of not only our catchers, but our pitchers as well. So it was just the right fit for us, and this also allows Carlos to continue his development because he is certainly very advanced with the bat and has come a long way defensively, but there are some things on the defensive side that he can continue to improve, and that's likely what will happen to start the year.
If Manny bats Branyan in the 5-hole, and he hits 31 home runs, I got to figure he's going to have 100 RBIs. if that's the scenario, I can justify him striking out 150 times. I really can.
I think that's it. What you're ultimately trying to balance is the production that comes along with the strikeouts. If you have a guy that strikes out 150, 175 or more, but isn't producing the power numbers, obviously that's difficult to live with. But I think we've seen it in the National League, and with Ryan Howard being an MVP, he strikes out close to 200 times every year. But because he hits 35, 40, 50 or more home runs, that those strikeouts are acceptable as long as the production is there. So not that Russell's Ryan Howard, but he, in terms of similar attributes with great raw power, but some strikeouts that come along with it. As long as he's hitting a few into the seats, then we can live with the strikeouts.
We had question marks in the starting rotation entering last season, but I felt one of the reasons why I picked the Indians to win it, I felt, is that our bullpen looked so strong to me, and I thought we had the potential to be one of the top 3 bullpens in the majors, and obviously it was a gigantic disappointment. But you know what? I look at that bullpen again, and I like these arms. I love Perez setting up Wood, and I'm one that defends Wood. Closers are creatures of habit, and for God's sake, he'd go 2 weeks sometimes without a safe opportunity.
Right. We need to do a better job of getting Carey more regular work, and hopefully that's coming with save situations. And Manny's already talked with Carey and Tim Belcher, and they've got a plan for doing that. But I think what we've done is we've tried to build a bullpen that has depth and alternatives, guys that a mix of guys, some guys that are four-seam power fastball guys with hard sliders, other guys that are more top-to-bottom curveballs. We have some sinker slider guys in there. We have a submariner in Joe Smith. We have left-handed. We have some left-handers. We have right-handers. So what we've tried to do is build a bullpen that has a number of different options and some flexibility within it, so we can make adjustments along the way. Because, as you know, and as we've learned over time, that it's important to be able to adjust with the bullpen as you go through a season.
I don't know if Manny Act is going to wind up being one of the greatest managers in baseball history or one of the worst. But I'll tell you,
former.
I'll tell you one thing. This man's communication skills, I can so understand how you and Mark and Paul Dolan were impressed by him. He's tell it like it is. He's a communicator, and we recorded 29 interviews on Sunday morning during photo session day, Chris, and it's reflected in these players already.
Yeah, Manny, he brings a lot to the table. He's an exceptionally good baseball guy that's worked a very long time to get the opportunities that he's received, and it's amazing. As we went through that process and started with over 70 people and then begin to whittle it down, we tried to reach out to as many people as we could throughout the game. Front office people, major league players, minor league coaches, major league coaches, and really try to cross-reference all the information we got from them. And to a person, it kept coming back, Manny Acta, unbelievable baseball guy, great intelligence, great rapport with players, great communicator, very passionate, very positive about the game. And I think, the time that we've had to know him over the off season and certainly in a more intimate environment here in spring training, that's been nothing but reinforced.
And you know what I love the most too is he has roots in Houston, and he wanted the Cleveland job.
He did. Manny had a choice, and I think that he made the choice to be here, and what Manny's communicated is he chose to be here because he believes we'll be successful, and he knows we'll be successful, and that's a byproduct hopefully of the organization, but also the talent that we have here, because ultimately that's what wins, is talent. And hopefully we can build, and under Manny's leadership can not only put those players in a position to win, but to develop this year and make sure we get the most out of each player on our roster.